Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Steve Breach coming to you here today, coming up on the week of WWE's Royal Rumble. It's going to be happening this year, January 27th. It's going to be coming to you from St. Petersburg, Florida. Honestly, the early Royal Rumbles that I remember were held down there in Orlando. You would always have like Jesse Ventura coming to you. It was him wearing the Mickey Mouse sweatshirt. It's kind of like the most perfect place to have a Royal Rumble because of honestly, like almost every pay-per-view now is like a must-see, must-travel event to head out and go out there. And Florida right now seems like the one place in the country that's like getting the most perfect weather, able to hold this. I can remember back to the Royal Rumble that Roman Reigns won. I think that was probably like 2013. It was held in Pittsburgh. Of course, that's the big snowstorm that hit during the Royal Rumble, and then it ended up being so bad that they could not travel, and they ended up having to cancel Monday Night Raw the next night, where I think they actually just showed the Royal Rumble on TV, and they had some interviews of like Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns setting up what would then be WrestleMania 31. This year's Royal Rumble was already like an event that was already on a lot of people's calendars. But I think that really changed when CM Punk came back to WWE at Survivor Series, the War Games pay-per-view. It's kind of like what we never thought would ever happen. I mean, we had him walk out of the company 10 years ago. We had him pop up in AEW. When that kind of like didn't work out and he was released, it was kind of like if they didn't want him, why is WWE going to want him? But they brought him in. He's wrestled on house shows, I believe, in New York City, in Los Angeles. If he's been on other ones, honestly, I just don't know about him. But they've held him from wrestling off television for a reason. Is that because when he comes out, we know that we want to see if he's still got it. I mean, it's kind of funny because we saw him wrestle in AEW. We know that he can still do it. But honestly, he kind of has that stigma on him right now. It's almost like every time Hogan gets into the ring, it's wondering how much it's going to take to fix him up. It was almost after every match Punk had on a pay-per-view, he got hurt. And it was kind of like, when are we going to be able to actually see him come back and wrestle again? I'm not going to consider Punk being old. He's just at a point in his career that he can't do it each and every night. He can't wrestle on Raw. He can't wrestle on the house shows and then, be available for pay-per-views because he's going to want to give a certain percentage to us. And if he's not able to give it, it's not really worth it for the people that tune in for these big shows along the way, especially for the people who buy tickets to go to the house shows thinking that he's going to be there and, because he tweaked an ankle or a knee or something like that, he's not going to be able to go. I think I don't love CM Punk, but I do believe that he wants to be there for the fans, the people that like him, the people that support him. Let's face it. I mean, this guy doesn't need to be here. I think he can live alone off of his pro wrestling tees orders alone. But, it's in his blood to want to give it to him. The biggest story going into the Royal Rumble this year had to have been Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes won the Rumble last year. He came out number 30. It wasn't really a surprise. In a lot of Rumble fashions, you can kind of point at one guy and be like, this is the guy that's going to win it. I think, honestly, when Del Rio won, it was very obvious. When Orton won, it was obvious. Drew McIntyre, Shinsuke Nakamura, they were all pretty obvious picks that, they were there for a reason. They were the guy that was sort of picked to be the WrestleMania main eventer. Cody won last year, went to WrestleMania. We all thought it was going to happen. And it didn't happen. Basically, Cody lost. Roman got the win. Some people say it's because they thought Roman wanted to hold the belt for 1,000 days. Some people thought that, they just didn't want to give the belt to Cody because his last name is Rhodes. I'm not really sure what happened. I thought it was a slam dunk. He was the face of the company. He still is the face of the company. He's the guy that's out there shaking hands and kissing babies every single time they go into a new town. He's the one doing the media tours. He's signing the pictures. She's signing the belts. He's doing everything right. He's walking out. He's dressing the part when he comes out for his promos. He's the guy that people want to see. I don't know. I didn't go to WrestleMania last year. I still haven't watched WrestleMania from last year. I don't know if it's like a Shawn Michaels thing when, he was building up the Royal Rumble 2010, saying that he had to have a match against Undertaker because he was the guy who could defeat the streak, and he made one little mistake. And if he can have that same match and not make that mistake, he knows that he can beat the Undertaker. I don't know if it's something like that, where he just knows that, he's just got to take out Sokoa on the outside or something like that before he goes to the Crossroads. It could be anything like that. But to me, Cody seemed the most obvious guy to win the Rumble this year. To me, always, you got to throw in, Seth Rollins, even though he is the World Heavyweight Champion, I guess is what they call that belt. Even though he is that, he's more than likely going to wrestle a singles match. Could he also be in the Rumble? I guess so. I mean, there's no real rules. There used to be, like, if you were in a singles match or a tag match, you weren't going to be in the Royal Rumble match. And somewhere along that change, where people that would compete for a title, they would still be in the Rumble because they needed to have the big names in there. He could be in there. CM Punk, since he came, he's a big name. Why would they bring him in if they didn't want him to be a guy who he's very, very, very vocal about the fact that he wants to main event a WrestleMania. It's one of the main reasons why he walked out around WrestleMania 30, because he thought he had been the WWE champion for so long. He wasn't, really looked at as the main guy in the company, even though he was champion, because they were focusing on John Cena. Even though he didn't have the title, his matches weren't closing out pay-per-views. It was kind of like it was always a storyline that wasn't as important as something else that was going on. Why would they bring him back other than the buzz of just bringing him back? You still got to put him on each and every show, find a storyline for him, somewhere to be like that. Drew McIntyre, he's a guy that's got a lot of talk around him. People say that, his contract is coming up. He hasn't re-signed. Is he jumping ship? Is he going to AEW? He's a past Royal Rumble winner. You got to put him in there with Cody Rhodes. You got to put him in there with Nakamura. People that have won the Rumble in the past, you can't look at him as a guy that, like, he's not like a main guy in the company anymore. He's supported WWE through one of its weirdest times they've ever had. Basically, through the time of the pandemic, if you go back and you remember the times of the Thunderdome, wrestling in front of nobody. He won the Rumble. He went to WrestleMania. He beat fucking Brock Lesnar. Even if it was held at the Performance Center and it looked like it was just held in some warehouse with nobody around it, it still happened. You can't take it away from him. He's basically out there. The whole thing on Monday Night Raw is that Drew McIntyre, he wants to finish his story. The one part of his promo that I did not understand is that he was being like broy with Cody Rhodes. They were going back and forth. Basically, Drew was saying that he wants to go and he wants to finish his story. He feels that he has to win the Royal Rumble to be the one who beats Roman Reigns. He was saying, like, hey, Cody, you will finish your story. That is something that's coming up. But first, I have to finish mine. Sometimes I break down things too much that I hear. And to me, that means I'm going to beat Roman Reigns, and then you're going to beat me to finish your story. Honestly, it didn't make a lot of sense to me then. It still doesn't make a lot of sense to me now. I don't know. I'm really, really looking forward to this. When it comes to surprises, I think that with Vince McMahon no longer being in the picture of the Royal Rumble, I think that honestly, almost anything is up in the air when it comes to this. I'll tell you the truth. It's held in his backyard. I know that people don't love him. I've been a fan of this guy for 40 years, I guess you can say. Like, I don't know when I became a wrestling fan, but the day I became a wrestling fan, Hulk Hogan was in the picture. How do you run a Royal Rumble in his town and not have him be even a little part of it? There has to be a day when we close the door on Hogan wrestling. Why can't Hogan come out for the Royal Rumble actually thinking that he's going to win it? DDP years ago talked about the fact of him, being on independence. He knows that he can't wrestle anymore, but he strictly believes that when people go to the shows, what people remember more than anything else is the entrance. They remember the promo, and they remember the finisher. Why can't Hogan, come down to the ring, have that big, explosion, doing the pose downs, you hear like "I am a real American," one more time. It's not the last time we're ever going to see him. Hogan will show up on Raw 6,000. Hogan will show up for the NWO Reunion 13. He'll do this, he'll do that. He won't wrestle. But why can't Hogan get in the ring? I mean, the Mattel is putting the huge push behind him right now and in the upcoming year. We've got figure after figure. Target just came out with a 40th anniversary of Hulkamania 3-pack. You can get the Hogan winning the championship. You can get the Hogan in the NWO. You can get the, I'm Back 2002 Hulk Still Rules. That's still out there. I want to see him come out, tear the shirt, go after, just go after one guy, and then they can find a way to get him out of that ring as easy as you can. If you go back and you watch, WrestleMania, when they did the gimmick battle royal, Iron Sheik won by eliminating Sergeant Slaughter. I think because of the fact they didn't know how to throw Sheik out. But I mean, there's got to be one easy way where, even if it's Hulk getting outside of the ring and somebody just bumping the ropes and he steps down, he doesn't have to Gail Kim himself out of there. There's got to be a way. Honestly, in my opinion, I love the Hulkster. I want to see it one more time. But I think honestly at this time, there's a lot of question marks about what's going on out there. The mysterious, door where guys can pass through. If Mickie James can be booked for a Royal Rumble when she is the current Impact champion, I think that TNA is a door that they're definitely, trying to get up off the ground one more time. I think that honestly, they are somebody you can point to and be like, maybe they would let somebody go, like a Brian Myers. I don't know if Nick Nemeth would be there because he's not exclusive to them. I don't think they would want to loan him out when he's with New Japan and other things. But he is kind of the hot guy on the market right now. It would be fun, man. It would be really, really fun. I know that this is going to be a damn good match. I'm pumped for it. I honestly can tell you that with football being on that day, the Niners play on Saturday. No, that's this weekend. This is the next weekend, which would be NFC Championship games. Well, how about this? The Niners are going to beat the Packers on Saturday. Write that down. So this is going to be NFC Championships. I'll tell you the truth. I'm probably not going to be watching this live. But before I go to bed, I'm going to be watching this, and I'm going to be pumped. It's going to be good times. I don't know if the AFC or the NFC is going to play their game on. How do they do it? Are they both going to play on Sunday, or do they have one game Saturday, one game Sunday? It's been a while. So it only comes up once a year. So, however it goes down, I don't think I'm going to be watching it live. I was trying to kayfabe this the most I could. My mom's going to be in town. She's going to be at my house Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm not going to be able to watch this until she goes to bed. So, we'll have to see. I'm pumped for this match. I want to know what's going down. If you can remember, a few months back, I almost bought tickets to go to WrestleMania last year. So we'll have to. Oh no, I'm sorry. I almost bought. Well, I guess last year I almost bought tickets to go to WrestleMania this year, and then I found out that our tickets are already gone on sale. I kind of planned my flight. I kind of planned my hotel. And then when I was looking at like secondary seats on like sites like StubHub and those, I kind of got cold feet. I kind of thought the tickets were a little bit too expensive just for that, but I really wanted to go to WrestleCon. I got to go to WrestleMania again in my lifetime sometime. I don't know when, I don't know where, I don't know how. I got a big trip coming up in the summer to fall this year, so we're looking forward to that. But Royal Rumble, I want to see Cody do it. Cody is my winner. My pick for winning the Royal Rumble is Cody Rhodes.